Welcome to Summed Up Books. Today, we are diving deep into Robert Greene's masterpiece, a book that is, let's be honest, pretty controversial, The 48 Laws of Power. Now, this isn't just a book. It's more like a playbook for the hidden game of influence that is being played all around you every single day.
But here's the thing. Forget about trying to memorize 48 different rules. We're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to reveal the 3 core pillars that connect them all. And this will give you a powerful new framework for understanding how power really works. All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to explore 3 core pillars that get to the deep psychology behind Greene's laws, starting with the very foundation, which is how power is perceived in the first place.
Okay, first up, pillar number 1, the art of perception. And this is really where the game is won or lost. Because in the world of power, what you do is way less important than what people think you're doing.
Think of it this way. Power isn't really about what you have in the bank or the title on your business card. It's about what people believe you have. It's all about controlling the narrative before anyone else even gets a chance to write it. So how does this actually play out in the real world? Well, let's take a look at the absolute master of spectacle himself, a guy named P.T. Barnum. In his early days, he was basically a nobody, and he desperately needed to draw massive crowds to a circus.
But here's the crazy part. Barnum didn't create a positive spectacle. Oh no, he courted scandal. He actually had his own associate spread a rumor that he was a notorious, recently acquitted murderer. Can you imagine? The public was, of course, completely outraged, but also deeply, deeply fascinated. And this is just a brilliant illustration of Law 6. Court attention at all costs. See, any kind of attention, even the negative kind, is a source of power. By making himself the center of this huge controversy, Barnum controlled the public's focus. And guess what? They paid to see the man at the center of the storm.
Okay, so wait a minute. How do you reconcile these 2 laws? They seem completely opposite, right? On one hand, you're told to hide and conceal your intentions. But on the other, you're told to be the center of attention. This is where we find a really surprising insight into how master strategists think.
Here's the aha moment. The spectacle isn't the goal itself. It's the smokescreen. While everyone is watching the big, dazzling show you've created, absolutely no one sees what you're actually doing behind the scenes. The grand display is the perfect misdirection.
So how can you actually apply this? Well, here's your actionable takeaway for this pillar. These 2 simple steps let you start mastering the art of perception right away. By saying less and being less predictable, you force other people to try and interpret you, which gives you control over their thoughts.
All right. Now that we've got a handle on perception, let's move into our second pillar, strategic inaction. And yeah, this is all about achieving more by, you guessed it, doing less. Now, I know that sounds totally counterintuitive, right? We live in a world that praises constant action, constant hustle. But this is the absolute essence of efficient strategy, getting maximum results with minimum effort and exposure.
You want a perfect example? Let me tell you this story about Michelangelo. So after he completes his absolute masterpiece, the David, he's facing a critique from a very powerful patron, Piero Soderini. And this guy could ruin his commission. Soderini takes one look and declares that the statue's nose is too big.
Now, instead of arguing, which would have been a useless and frankly dangerous move, he creates this brilliant illusion of action. He climbs the scaffolding, secretly palming a little bit of marble dust. He then taps his chisel lightly near the nose while letting the dust fall, but he never actually touches the art.
And the result? It was a victory without any conflict. Soderini, now totally convinced that he had improved the work, was satisfied. His ego was massaged, and the masterpiece? It remained completely intact. Michelangelo proved his point without saying a single word.
This story is just the perfect illustration of 2 key laws working together. When you connect Law 9, win through your actions, never through argument, with Law 7, get others to do the work for you but always take the credit, you uncover another really powerful insight.
So here it is. You appear to achieve these incredible things with almost no effort because you've learned to avoid the direct fights, and instead, you leverage the energy of those around you. It's all about appearing almost godlike in your efficiency by getting others to do the heavy lifting.
So your big takeaway here is to shift from being reactive to being proactive. Control your own emotions, and you make others react emotionally. Make them come to you, and you get to dictate the terms of the engagement. And that brings us to our final pillar, the one that really ties everything else together. You see, mastering perception and strategy is completely useless if you don't understand the people you're dealing with.
And look, this is by far the most dangerous and the most critical pillar. Because ignoring the raw truths of human nature, wishing people were better than they actually are, that's not just naive. In the game of power, it is a fatal mistake.
And there's no better cautionary tale than the tragic story of Emperor Michael III. After a young stable boy named Basilius saved his life, Michael just elevated his friend to the highest positions in the entire empire. He truly believed their friendship and Basilius's gratitude would guarantee absolute loyalty.
He had created a monster. By showering his friend with wealth and power, he inadvertently cultivated this deep-seated envy and ambition. Basilius, you see, was no longer content to be number 2. He had the emperor murdered and seized the throne, brandishing Michael's head on a pike.
So let's connect the dots one more time. You've got Law 2, never put too much trust in friends, and Law 46, never appear too perfect. These aren't just separate pieces of cynical advice, they are deeply and often tragically linked.
And this reveals a brutal, brutal truth. It's often your own success that creates the envy that poisons relationships. Your perfection becomes an unbearable mirror for their own insecurities, and that is an incredibly dangerous dynamic.
So your final takeaway, operate on reality, not on sentiment. Always appeal to people's self-interest. Always ask what's in it for them. And with your superiors, manage their insecurity. Make them look brilliant, and you become indispensable.
So there you have it, the 3 core pillars of power hidden within all 48 laws: mastering perception, using strategic inaction, and, most importantly, understanding the unchangeable realities of human nature.
Look, the real question here isn't whether these laws are good or bad. We're not endorsing them as a moral code. The whole point is that power is always at play, whether it's in the office, in your social circles, or on the world stage. And awareness is the first and most critical step toward navigating it effectively.
If you got some real value from the summary, show your support by hitting that like button and subscribing to Summed Up Books for more deep dives. And hey, if you want to explore all 48 laws for yourself, click the affiliate link in the description to purchase the book. Or you can try a 30-day free trial of Audible. Until next time, click, learn, repeat.